And we are live. Hold on, it's share time. So, hey, what are we going to do today? It is Monday. So Monday means what? It means we're going to talk about, dissect, break down Grant Cardone's strategy of the week. If you'd like to follow along in the text, you can just go to cardonesolutions.com. It is the most recent post up there. Pardon me while I take a moment to share this bad boy with all y'all. Change it over to me. Share right there. Talking about something everybody likes to talk about. You. Talking about you tonight. You talking to me? I'm talking to you. You talking to me? Here we go. Boom. All right. So it's shared, I think. I don't know. All right. So what are we going to do? We are going to break down Grant Cardone's strategy of the week. I do this every Monday night. I come in, I crack open Grant's strategy. I dissect it. I debrief it. I read it through, and I come up with some things. I'm always looking for lessons out of that program. And so the first thing I want to just deliver to you. What's up, Jose Garza, Dave Pignato, Derek Simons. Uh-oh, no pressure. What's up, Derek? Good to see you, brother. All right. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take a deep dive into Grant Cardone's strategy of the week. Now, when you start reading this week's strategy, it may appear that this week's strategy is all about Grant, okay? But the reality is that it's really all about you. In fact, every strategy that we put out is really all about you. And do not get these things confused, okay? So how does somebody that has reached that level of success think? What kind of mindsets are they putting out there? You need to understand their level of think so you can adjust, raise up, elevate up. So that's the first thing we want to talk about. So what's happening at 10X headquarters, though, is a massive remodel. They're like, outside of leveling the building and building it from the ground up, everything on the inside is getting gutted out, torn up, redone, upgraded. So I want to extrapolate. I found four lessons that I'm going to employ this week and that you can too. I'm just going to share them with you. Okay. So in the strategy, as you look through it, as you're reading through, you're going to notice that Grant's breaking down a couple different things, the big fat changes that are happening at 10X headquarters, but also the big fat strategies that are happening or that have happened, big fat changes, that is, in the world of Grant Cardone, like his evolution. He lays that whole evolution out. So it gives you an opportunity to go back and sort of look at your own evolution and how you wound up where you're at, and then also where you want to go. And if you can pay attention to how Grant got to where he's at, maybe you can find some things in there that you can duplicate, because ultimately success is just like any other skill. Understand the successful actions of others, duplicate that, and you too can have success. So the four mindsets or strategies that I extrapolated that I thought, boom, that's spot on. I need to bring that over into my world a little bit more, okay, are these. The first thing is, as you go through the strategy, Grant says, or they say, Grant stroked a check for $13 million, bought the building, and kicked the bankers out. So what happened? Grant was in a place to where he's like, he was limited by his resources. He couldn't do what he wanted to do in that building. So he's like, you know what? If I own the building, I can do whatever the hell I want. So what did he do? Bought the building, okay, which I love, okay? And it reminded me of the intro to the Millionaire booklet. So when you read the intro, Grant talks about being at a charity event where they were short. And everybody that was at the event had given all they could give. They were tapped, but they were still short their monetary goal. So some guy rolls in and says, well, how much are we short? And they said, well, we're short this much money. He's like, no problem. Pulls out a checkbook. Done. There you go. Handled. Okay. So the question that you want to start thinking with, that I want to deliver to you, is what is the value of being in a position to do that? Okay, and so the first thing you want to start looking at, which is what I started looking at, hey, Michelle, the first thing that you want to start doing, which is what I started doing, is how am I in a position to do that now? So like, here's a fun thing. This is a great way to like pay it forward. You ever in line at a drive-through, just lean over and say, hey, how much is the guy behind me? What's their ticket? Whatever they tell you, like, I'm in, I'll pay for it. just let him know the guy in front of him sends his love. Okay. So if there's a cop behind me in line at a drive-through, I'm doing it every single time. Any first responder. Okay. And you know what? It's not going to bother me financially at all. Remember when you were a little kid and $100 was like a lot of money? It's not anymore, right? You better not be. Okay. Think about what a lot of money is to you. Okay. And what can you shift? Where do you need to shift in your brain to where that dollar amount that you just thought is a lot is not anymore? So the exercise you want to start doing or thinking with that I want to challenge you to do tonight is, what could you do if money wasn't a barrier for you? I want you to write down the first 5 things that come to mind. What could you do if money wasn't a barrier for you? Don't spend any time on thinking it over. The first 5 things that pop into mind, I want you to write them down. Okay. So that's the first thing we're going to do. Okay. The strategy then goes on to show you how Grant literally practices what he preaches by having multiple flows of income out of the exact same building. Inside 10X headquarters, there are 14 companies that are working with other businesses and individuals to help them financially succeed. So if you look at what you're doing right now, how is your product and your service a solution? How do you help people? How do you serve? In what ways do you give to your market in a way that nobody else does? What is it that makes you unique? What does Michelle have to say? I would buy a building and put homeless veterans in. I love that, Michelle. That's so awesome. Helping veterans is a very important thing for me as well. Definitely a touch point or a soft point for me and a passion that I have. So good for you. Speaking of vets, if there's any veterans watching and you'd like some free sales training, go to cardoneuniversity.com/vets. We've got something set up for you. So Michelle, that's so fantastic. I think that's a fantastic thing to do and to think with, because it's not about you, right? You definitely put somebody else ahead of it. So that brings us into what we're talking about, which is, if you look at what you're doing right now, how is your product? How is your service? How is what you offer a true service? How are you helping people? Okay. And so what are you doing in the marketplace that separates you from everybody else? At what level are you operating at? Okay. So Grant has 14 different companies, and what he's looking to do with that is literally build a legacy. He's looking to leave a mark, like Steve Jobs level mark on planet Earth. The one that people talk about for generations. I mean, we're talking about Napoleon Hill still, right? Okay. So Grant's intention is that 100 years from now, when we're talking about sales, and marketing, and personal development, and creating your ideal life and being the cause and not the effect, he wants people thinking back to him still, citing him, using his as an example. That's a legacy. So the second exercise you want to start thinking with is, what is your legacy going to be? Okay. And not to sound like a middle school teacher, but I'd challenge you tonight to sit down and do a 500-word essay on your legacy. Maybe imagine that it's 100 years down the road and you're a family member talking about your great-great-grandfather so-and-so. What do they talk about? What is the legacy that you left? If I think back about my 3rd or 4th time great-grandfather, his name was Alonzo, fought in the Civil War, right? He started in Iowa. He marched all the way to Tennessee, okay? Was part of wrapping up the whole thing, and got really badly injured, loading a truck or a train, had horrible lumbago, went back home, had PTSD, I've done all the research on him, but I know what kind of a legacy he left as an American. And that in and of itself inspires me. So how will you inspire the generations to come? What's your legacy going to be, right? So next. The next quote in the strategy of the week that got my attention was this: as 10X headquarters continues to grow, so does the 10X movement. So this was very interesting to me, because when I saw it written out the way it is in the strategy, it was like, wow. How do you go from having a home-based business in Houston, Texas, to having 14 companies and over 150 employees? Just think about that for a second. That's you. Let's just say you, like me, work from home in an office. You're a solopreneur. Can you even fathom having 150 employees and 14 different companies rolling? How do you wrap your head around that? So Grant's career, that shows this evolutionary cycle. And that's what the strategy of the week is really about. It's not about tearing down 10X headquarters. It's not about just Grant, but it's about you and your evolutionary development along your path. So if you want to look at your own evolution so far, remembering these strategies are literally about you, let's answer some questions. Let's ask the hard questions and let's take a hard look. Okay, you ready for these? Maybe you might want to write these down. So if you want to grab pen and paper, good news is I save all these streams. So if you want to come back, you can. So how have you gotten to where you're at right now? So if you think about where you are, how'd you do that? Okay. Then the next question, which is challenging, and this is going to be tough because the instinct is to say yes to this question. But pause for a second and maybe don't rush into that. But are you evolving right now? Like for real? And at what level and at what pace? Which brings me to question number 3, which is at your current rate of evolution, where will you be in 5 years? Now, if the answer that you have is the same place that you're at right now, then clearly you're not evolving and you've got work to do. We both do. I know I'm not evolving at the rate I want. I'm always proud of my evolution, but I'm never satisfied. So where would you like to be in 5 years? If you could fast forward 5 years, where are you at? And use the big 3, body, mind, spirit. Where are you at, body, mind, spirit? Okay. And then the toughest question of them all is going to be this. Are you willing to make the changes necessary to have that evolution? What does Grant say? You got to pay the price today so you can pay any price tomorrow. Right? So are you willing to pay the price? Because if you're not, then, you're not going to evolve. Sorry. Okay. So the final thought is this, which is the theme of the entire strategy, which is you can change it if you don't like it. So whatever's going on in your world right now, if you don't like it, the best part, the good news is that you get to change it. And you know what's even more empowering? Is that whatever's going on in your life right now, you caused it to happen, or just assume you did and act as if. Because until you do, you can't change the future. You cannot create a new future, a better future for you. Okay, so that's the lesson. If you don't like where you're at, you get to change it. And it literally is that simple. You can try and complicate it all you want, but the reality is it's that simple. If you don't like it, change it. Okay, that's why Grant bought the building. Okay. Now, simple does not mean easy. A lot of people confuse those two words, but they're two very separate things, okay? So like if you look at 500 pounds on the ground, like on a bar, if you lift weights, like 500 pounds strapped on an Olympic bar, deadlifting it, simple. Pick that sucker up, ain't easy. So that, unfortunately, though, is the number one reason why people don't try, because they look at that bar and like, that's too heavy. I can't do it. And this is unfortunately why a lot of people either quit or they don't even try. So if you don't like where you're at and you want to change it, but you think that it's too heavy when you look at the bar, and you're like, I can't do that. So that comes from having limiting beliefs. And then also an unawareness of what you're truly capable of, what your true potential is. So as we wrap this thing up, if you're 10X headquarters, because realistically you are, 10X it's a movement. It's in all of us. It's part of your divine nature to go massive. what kind of remodeling do you need to do? And so if you look at Grant's evolution, you're going to notice 3 key factors that were in play that made his evolution possible. And once you notice what those things are, guess what? You can do them too. I love that. Simple, not easy. Okay. So first, Grant got the right information that he then used to level up multiple times. So I'll just say that again. Grant got the right information that he then used to level up multiple times. You should always be looking to level up. So whatever level you're at right now, how do I go up? Okay. Second thing, Grant got around the right people. You cannot do this alone. He couldn't. You can't. I can't. You need to be around the right people. So if you want to level up over and over and over and over again, you're going to need help to do that. You're going to need support. You're going to need somebody above you that's helping you, pulling you up, okay? And you're going to need some people below you that you don't want to be around anymore, that you need to be moving away from. It's evolution. Third, he paid the price. Time, energy, effort, money. You got to invest all of these things in order to grow. So the 4 things for growth: time, energy, effort, money. You got to invest every single one. Michelle says she's been listening to Cardone You every single day. Good for you, Michelle. How much time are you putting in on Cardone You every single day? Hey, Paul, good to see you, man. So where was I at? Oh, yeah. Third, pay the price. Okay. So you didn't think I'd wrap this video up without dropping some call to action on you. What's up, Wendy? Okay. So here's the call to action. Where can you go? What could you do that would get you the right information that you could use to level up and get around the right people while investing time, energy, effort, and money? The 10X Growth Conference. Holy smoke. What a coincidence. Okay. So if you need information about that event and what we're doing there, it's going to be at the Mandalay Bay. It's going to be February 21st, 22nd, 23rd. You need to be there. Okay. Because why? Everything that you need to level up will be there. Okay. It's a great way to start your year. It's a great way to get dialed in. I want to help you get tickets. So if you haven't ordered them yet, call me, 310-777-0352. That's my office line. Shoot an email at david@grantcardone.com. We are changing ticket specials all the time. There's all kinds of crazy deals going on. So I don't want to put anything out here right now. I want to tell you what exactly is available for you in the moment on the call. So you got to call me, shoot me an email. Let's get you some tickets, and let's help you level up. Thank you for watching. I'll be back next week breaking down Grant's strategy of the week. Talk to you.